Pleasure the go.
Yo, we are live. Little pre-weekend stream for you. Me and Hulbert in the booth. SummerSlam is fastly approaching. AEW is loving life in Chicago with Hangman Adam Page as world champion. But obviously the most significant news this week is the passing of two WWE Hall of Famers. The greatest icon to ever come from my city of Birmingham. A true one of one. Ozzy Osbourne and Hulk Hogan. Before we get started, though, the usual stuff. Please hit the like button, run the likes up, subscribe if you haven't already. Super chats, get those in. We'll get to them as soon as we can. Questions, hot takes, anything like that. We're gonna be here for about 90 minutes. But yeah, man, what you saying, Joe? Talk to me.
Yeah, I'm good to be here, mate. Happy to be here. These making these towns less and less nowadays. Feel like I'm on a Legends deal, you know. Like, I was telling you before we went live that
on that Roman Reigns approach.
yeah, I was telling you before we went live that my new approach to Worldwide is on Sunday afternoon. I just go, not this week either. So it's the first time I've been on for a bit. So happy to be here. Quite weekend ahead for me, which I'm thankful for because it's been a month. It's been a stretch, so I'm trying my best here. But I'm excited
You're working hard, man.
trying my best, mate. So it looks like is what it is.
Every time I check the timeline, Joe's about to go live. Always, he's sending the young guns out there. He's doing something,
just
you know.
Live in 5 over and over again.
Player manager, you know, just
spreadsheets, the works. But yeah, I'm
doing your thing, man. You're doing your thing, man. But yeah, this stuff with you just leaving Ibu out there, you know, it's we're gonna have to revisit that little meeting we had before. It's not, man. He doesn't need. You think he needs reps, and he's already a main eventer, bro. You know, you don't actually chat since Ibu did so much of that stream on Monday by himself. What did you guys think of the solo streams with Ibu? He's done like 1.5 of them so far. Just give me some feedback, people. Just leave it in the chat.
He loves it.
I think he does, and he tries to play it down like he doesn't. You know, like he was saying the week that he got his little brother to come on, Sandman Says, and he was just like, I need you there because if I'm just talking non-stop for 90 minutes, I'll go crazy. But when you're watching him do it live, you can tell that he's just flowing, bro. You know, he's just flowing, bro, and he enjoys it, man. You can tell he can flesh out his takes. You know, he got the name Essay Man for a reason. You know, you don't really get called it that much anymore, but that's who he is at heart. You know, he's the Essay Man, bro.
Yeah,
he's got his soliloquies. He's got his.
It's also Worldwide. It does need to sometimes cover wrestling, and unfortunately, when I was there every week, I began to turn it into a weekly pod about nothing to protect my own lack of understanding what was going on. Even would send me the format, and I'd go, "Could do a pod about nothing if you want." It's like we've done those for 6 straight weeks, Joe. Enough. So, we're trying. We'll figure it out.
That's what the live streams are, though, man. They should all be about nothing. You know, I'll book myself into a corner sometimes with this stuff. You know. Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's just me and you. We're just gonna be here for 90 minutes talking. Hopefully, it's kind of relevant. You know, like I did that outline at the top of the show just now. It's like, who knows where this goes, bro? You know,
I don't. Got a few ideas, but I don't know. I know where it shouldn't.
So the self-made guys did their debut stream yesterday. Yesterday of all days. It was always planned to be yesterday, but it also just happened to be the day of Hulk Hogan's passing. So that was an interesting show. A lot of different guests. Rob's dad appeared on it to give that perspective of somebody who is obviously quite a bit older, saw Hogan live and all that sort of stuff, you know. And obviously being a black man from that generation as well, kind of his just perspective on things, you know. So yeah, man, obviously that was all over the place though, but that's self-made, bro. People who know, will know any. So, but yeah, man, like I've obviously we've already touched on. Hulk Hogan passed away yesterday, age 71. There were some rumours and comments about his health struggles recently, and they all varied in severity. Like he was either just about to dive or no, don't worry, people, he's fine. And even though there was some uncertainty surrounding his health, I think it's fair to say that his death yesterday came as a surprise to a lot of people. I don't think we can add too much that hasn't already been said over the past 24 hours. But obviously, Hulk Hogan leaves behind a very split legacy. His body is pretty straightforward for me, to be honest. There's Hulk Hogan, the wrestler, the performer. well, still, even that's divisive. Some people will swear to you he's the worst wrestler ever, you know. But he's probably the biggest name in history of the sport. Somebody that can be credited with launching pro wrestling into pop culture, being at the heart of two of US wrestling's major peaks. Dave Meltz actually said a fact about Hogan's star power. I think on the Observer Radio that they did immediately after his passing. And it was just something that's been phrased in different ways over the years. But obviously, with it being Dave, it was just said so bluntly, you know. And it just, I don't know. But it was along the lines of Hulk Hogan has drawn more people to wrestling shows than anybody that has ever lived, which is like crazy when you put it into perspective, you know. He obviously definitely had his downfalls backstage, even in the ring, but ultimately that is his legacy as a wrestler. Then there's Terry. You know, not the Hulkster character, a father, a husband, by a lot of accounts, a family man, but also, very significantly, a self-admitted racist that had said some pretty abhorrent things about black people, never apologised for it, never apologised for it when it was all made public, and even recently was seen gleefully taking fan pictures with neo-Nazis. You know, so the reaction to his death yesterday was always going to be some wild shit to watch unfold, you know. Some people are obviously sad. Some people obviously celebrate it. Some people just don't really care. Some people are offended by the others making a mockery of it. All I'll say on that is you probably shouldn't try and police how somebody feels about the death of a self-admitted racist, and vice versa. If somebody is sad about the death of Hulk Hogan, who they watched growing up or huge fans of as a wrestler, that's not really something people should police either, you know? There's always going to be mixed reactions when somebody like this passes, you know? WWE has apparently reached out to a bunch of wrestlers and people for tributes. Wrestlers are going to say their pieces over the next few days. WWE is just going to do a huge week of tributes, and that's going to be the next few days, man. And Hulk Hogan passes away. Age 71, Joe. I don't know if I know you did a stream earlier, but I know it was kind of a match review. I don't know if you've said anything about any of this, but
not really. We're on the same page, though. I think, you know, complicated legacy is, a few of our friends have said it. I think it's a pretty generous way of phrasing something that's really pretty simple. Yeah, I think you know, I think you have to be very careful in. You know, not you, I mean, like, generally, we all have to be careful in terms of phrasing abject racism in a way that's, like, just sort of, you go, he made his mistakes. You know, you see people doing it, it's like, and everyone does that, everyone can post however they want to, but that's something I definitely do not want to do. And so for that reason, that's why I've kind of avoided the whole thing entirely. If you're watching this, you probably have a good idea that, like, you know, my opinion on Hulk Hogan, the wrestler, is probably more favourable than a lot of our talent pool and wrestle peers. Like, you and I probably agree on that matter.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really not... I don't really see any great motivation or reason to sort of go... Like, now we celebrate the match catalogue of Hulk Hogan. Like, I don't really have any interest in doing that right now. You know what I'm saying? So, or any time, really. I don't think there's ever a show you and I are going to do. And for good reason.
Yeah,
so, yeah, it don't feel like this. So, but now, especially for the time, so I just kind of left it. And I agree with you, like, if there's an element of it's the complicated that I get if you grew up a super fan, I understand it being complicated for you as a person to, like, wrestle with all that he was, you know? But the actual truth is that's, like, for the fan to work through. The person himself was pretty direct and straightforward in terms of, like, you have to, the wrestler was here, and those two things can both exist. And if we're being honest, as wrestling fans, we have a great deal of experience with accepting that people that are very good at the job of professional wrestler are not often very good at the job of being a human being, quite frankly. So this is the first, God, I wish. This is, the latest in a long line of situations like this, and people are going to handle everyone differently. There's obviously, I think, deaths ahead in wrestling that will probably draw even more ferocious responses, we'll say that way, So, I don't know, man. It is a weird one, but I also just think, like, the main thing I didn't want to do, and I texted you about this earlier in this way, like, we're not going to do, an hour on this or anything, it's just, I just did not want to be like, yes, he had his faults, but God, the 10 rematch, it's like, fuck, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, those two things don't weigh up, you know? And if someone sends a super chat in 6 months and we're just talking wrestling, I may talk for a bit about his work, but like, that's a different thing, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's where I'm at mostly.
Yeah, like you've kind of outlined just now, being a wrestling fan, it kind of comes with the job role, doesn't it? You know,
Yeah.
it's like how good can you be at separating the wrestler from the human being? You know, there's plenty of wrestlers over the past. Some people more significant than others. Obviously, Hogan's pitfalls in that department were very public. You know, so I myself, obviously, I do find it pretty easy to be able to do that. You know, because it's like me recognizing what Hogan was to the industry of professional wrestling doesn't really factor into how I feel about him as a human being, Terry, the human being,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So it's but yeah, man, it's Hulk Hogan, bro. You know, well, like I said, probably one of, if not the, probably is the biggest name in the history of the sport. You know, like I mentioned the Dave kind of little fact he gave out earlier about him being the person that's drew more people to professional wrestling shows than anybody ever. You know,
Yeah.
so he's obviously he's one of the giants of the sport, and as you mentioned as well, there's probably a few more of those that are due to go. You know, obviously the obvious one, the Vince McMahon. That day will be an interesting day as well. I think it'll be an even more kind of aggressive on both sides version of this. You know, because yeah, like I said, on both sides, it's like you see people defend like Vince McMahon in all areas. You know what I mean? So like adamantly, you know, they'll die on that hill. You know, and then there's people who obviously think he's genuinely like Satan himself.
Yeah.
You know, so it's
I don't think, as crazy as this is to say, I think public perception is probably more favourable to Vince than Hogan in 2025, which I make of that what you will. You know what I'm saying? But it feels that way to me. I mean, I saw, I think Ebro did a post about Vince, and there was a lot of people mad at him even like talking about Vince negatively. I don't really understand why that's the case, to be honest. I have no idea why that's the case, but that does seem to be the case.
Yeah, I'd definitely, I'd agree. You know, it's like when Hogan came out in January, I think, it was January, I think.
Yeah.
They booed the shit out of him. The fans did, you know. And Vince, you know, the last time he was on TV, granted, obviously, a lot more stuff and details and stuff like that has came out since. But it's like, you know, mans were bowing in the crowds, bro. You know, like people, they popped huge. They love to see, it's Vinnie Mac. You know, like Hogan didn't have that. You know, Hogan, like you said, the perception of Hogan, for whatever reason, is not as favourable as it is towards Vince. Now, granted, if Vince walked out on SmackDown tonight, I'm sure there would be some negative reaction, but I think we'd be a little bit disappointed as wrestling fans at how positive of reaction he would also get. So, oh man, so it's just a weird business, bro. It's a weird business, and we have to have these sort of conversations about. You know, a raving racist that is also like the biggest star in the history of the sport. Like it's just no other sport is. I don't know, man. But yeah,
it's a weird beast. I don't know. I still haven't figured it out. I've been, covering it, quote unquote. That's generous, but I've been in the space for like fucking 8 years. No clue.
So having convos, talking to pals about it was, it's. But yeah, that's that 71. You know, kind of you class that as kind of young these days, wouldn't you? Obviously, Hogan would be an exception because we all know that he was
for an 80s wrestler,
juice. He was doing all kinds of stuff back in the day. So obviously, 70 for a wrestler's not that bad, but I guess in general, 71 is not too old, is it?
No, I also think
it's not exactly young, but
he was on Raw in January, so I think that's why it's more like
definitely.
He's been around. He's always promoting stuff, and
real American wrestling, bro. Real American wrestling. He was just an ambassador of that with Bischoff, and obviously that there was they were doing some media rounds or whatever, and yeah, man, this ain't exactly been a long term sort of thing, so. But yeah, that's that, man. Get into a couple of we got a couple of super chats. God bless. What we got here? 1, 2, 3. Ryan, $13.99 Canadian. Appreciate you as always, brother. How long do you think the Alexa Bliss Charlotte Flair business runs for? Might have the legs till WrestleMania if they win tag gold in between. Also, they randomly tease Julia versus Kiana behind them. Possible foils for them.
Yeah. I think what they're going to do is Julia's going to work with Charlotte and Alexa both, and they're going to try and kind of use their, cachet and their cred from being on TV for so long to help Julia out a little bit as US champ and help the US belt out too. And I think the make good for that will be that Julia and Kiana work with them as a team, and so you'll kind of do a deal where they do a tag match, they beat Kiana, you know what I'm saying, Julia will probably beat Alexa in a singles or something to that effect, and that will be a couple months of TV, I think. I don't know in terms of like the legs. My biggest thing that I think is just pivotal, I think they shouldn't even be thinking about splitting them up right now. This to me is one of those deals where like don't put yourself in a corner and go right. The February 8th SmackDown with, you know what I'm saying? I think you should just let it be. You have something here that there's really no reason to rush. This is the most organically, like, it feels like Charlotte in this role, it honestly feels different to anything she's ever done. And if that's like dismissive of saying that I'm forgetting, I apologize. I'm just off my memory. This feels like a totally sustainable role, which is saying she's really struggled for it across her career. I think you just let them be a babyface team. What's the rush, right? Like, they both have a long time left on their deals. They're both already won every belt. Like, I think you just let it be. So I think you absolutely can get to WrestleMania, but I wouldn't be... I remember the RK Bro thing, they kind of had that approach, right? Where it was like, they're just the team now. I think they should do that with this.
Yeah, it's always going to be something that fans kind of question and wonder about when, I guess, the initial idea, and especially when that gets out, that they were just going to do a split. Because exactly the same as Randy and Riddle, they were meant to do a split after like 2-3 weeks. And, I mean, I guess into a couple reports, that was meant to be the same kind of game plan here with Charlotte and Alexa, and it's just worked and it's worked and it's worked. And they're building up a nice momentum now. And, yeah, but of course, because that was initially the idea, I guess people will always kind of have that in mind. But I completely agree. Yeah, I'll completely agree. It's like, it doesn't really need to be there. It's like, what are we splitting them up for? Do you know what I mean? It's not even like it's a young wrestler with a experienced wrestler or something like that, where it's like you're trying to get somebody over. It's like, just let Charlotte and Alexa exist in this. It's a nice spot for them, as you said. Found nice roles for them. And, you can... a great thing about them as well is that you could turn them babyface and heel together, Yeah. You don't have to do a thing where it's like, oh, we want to turn Alexa heel, so she's going to turn on Charlotte. Like, just turn them both heel, bro. Fuck it.
Yeah. Like, it's a case of, like, Charlotte has been difficult to book because they'd kind of put themselves in a corner where she was always attached to the belt and they had to work backwards. That was going to be really hard to do with her as a singles because SmackDown is not a deep squad, right? So it was like she kind of had to be in the title picture. I mean, look at the title picture. It's not rich with, like established names. And Alexa, to me, I don't really get why they had such a hard time finding a spot for her, but they definitely found a hard time finding a spot for her. Like, she just would disappear, and it was, when she came back this year, that was bizarre. So they've figured out something for both of them. And for as much as... people were dismissive of Dave's report, you can actually tell if you go back and watch when the angle changed. Because they went from like full on, we're not friends, but we'll just be a team for a minute, to then the next week they were doing like a odd couple skit backstage. You know what I'm saying? And they were doing all this stuff. It's like, it's very obvious. And Charlotte, I don't know this, but just based on her social media, Charlotte seems to be crazy into this whole thing, doesn't she? I mean, like...
Oh, yeah. She's enjoying it, man. She's embracing every last minute of it.
She's getting great reactions.
We want Charlotte chants, the people are there for Charlotte Flair at the moment, man. And I think, like I said, they're gaining momentum. Like, I don't think they've peaked anywhere near the peak they can reach as a tag team. And, in kind of humanising Charlotte Flair, the queen character,
Dude,
so.
They've hardly done anything yet, if we're being honest. Like... They do a 30-second pre-tape and a match every week.
It's like a little wink backstage and have a match.
Yeah.
It's like...
You can do so much with this. It's already over. So I think, yeah, no rush. You got so many talents to slot in with call-ups and stuff. And here you have the luxury of being like, it's a down month. Let's just heat one of them up for a title match while they're a team. Why split them? It would be such an unforced error to split them anytime soon.
The work's just going to keep getting better as well, I think. Like, the tag matches, like, they're having pretty fun tag matches and stuff at the moment. But I think if they get to a point where they win the tag belts or something, and Charlotte Flair gets she gets that chip on the shoulder when she has those big matches. You know how it goes. You know, Bliss will happily tag in for a little hot tag, twisted Bliss at the end. You know, there's something there, man. Clearly there's something there. It's already working. This is nothing new. We're not breaking any news here, you know. But yeah, man, keep it going. Keep it going. Jan Theodore, $2 Canadian. Appreciate you as always. How do y'all think AEW acknowledges Hulk's passing? I'm not sure they do. No, do they have to? Like, then I know obviously some people feel like they should. It's a big wrestler. Like I already said at the top of the show, he's like the biggest name that ever lived. But obviously he has zero attachment to AEW, and there has been other wrestlers in the past that have had no attachment to AEW, but they've obviously did either a social media post or something for. Well, obviously, like I said, because Hogan has such a split legacy, it's kind of because of that. It kind of eradicates him being kind of like owed those sort of things, boy. You know what I mean? So I don't think I wouldn't be surprised at all if AEW just continue as they are and don't say or post anything, to be honest, because it's not the same as like if SmackDown starts tonight and they just pretend it didn't happen. You know, like obviously he's the biggest star in that company's history, and you know, obviously we don't have to go into all of that. You know, everyone knows that. So AEW, it's like I'm not turning on AEW expecting a Hulk Hogan tribute or anything, to be honest. And the same way, if Tony Khan or AEW did a post yesterday, that wouldn't have surprised me too much either. But you know, it's I don't know. It's not really something I'm expecting them to do at all.
No, normal.
And if they do, I think it would just be like a graphic at
the start, maybe.
They're not doing like a video package for Hulk Hogan.
No.
So yeah, Love Dogs Avery $4.99. What are your guys' favourite Hogan lies? Mine is that he said he wrestled 400 days a year, going back and forth to Japan. Oh yeah, because of the time difference, brother.
To be honest, that isn't close to when he claimed that Andre died like a week after their match at WrestleMania 3, which is genuinely like a level of lie that people should be in jail for. You know, like they wrestled on primetime TV in front of like 30 million people 8 months after that match, and he claimed he died like he said a couple days later, didn't he, or something like that? Like just an outrageous.
It's the way he used to ride the wave of his own bullshit. You know. Like he would just commit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Fuck man, he was so full of shit. Oh god. There's been threads about Hogan's lies, like, and they're like 100 tweets long, you know? It's like, that's the sort of guy that we're talking about here, you know. I don't know, man. That's Hogan though. Ultra Instinct $4.99, appreciate it. I agree with Joe. When Triple H mentioned Vince at the Hall of Fame, he got cheers. True. That is a true thing that happened.
I remember talking to AO. It was a post show one night. We were like 4 hours into a post. This is years ago. We were talking about Flair and Hogan and like the difference in the public perception of them.
Mm-hmm.
And AO said the actual reason is because people feel like Hulk Hogan conned them because his persona was like pure good. And I honestly think there's a lot of truth to that with the Vince thing. And I think that's insane. And I don't think that should be the way it is, you know what I'm saying? But I think that is genuinely a big part of the reason. I think because Vince McMahon was like a mustache-twirling villain, I think people really struggled to come to grips with the idea that does not mean you should think it's like normal that he was actually a deeply evil person. But I truly believe that matters in perception. I really do. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Well, when the truth kind of contradicts the perception, it's a lot more.
Yeah.
It's a lot more, you know, startling to people or whatever. Whereas, as you just said, the contradiction of Hogan being, eat your vegetables, eat your vitamins, vegetable, fucking say your prayers, you know what I mean, all this good stuff.
Yeah.
And he was like everyone's childhood hero to then turn out to be this,
Right.
to be turn out how he was and how he got outed and everything, obviously that's a big contrast. Whereas, as you just said, like Vince was always like
Which
the
is
mustache
stupid,
twirling villain, So when it came out that he was actually like a completely horrendous human being, people were kind of, oh well, that's Vince. Vince is crazy, like.
And it's the same with Flair,
bro,
right? So which again is stupid, but I just think I do think that's like kind of part of it in a strange way. So yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one. It's a weird one.
Black Yakuza 94, appreciate you as always. I think, one sec. I think it's a shame how little Hogan's death affects me on a personal level, despite knowing his impact on the business. It really shouldn't be hard to be. It shouldn't be hard to be a good person, and yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can empathise with that definitely. Because as somebody who has like even enjoyed like a lot of Hogan's work and stuff, like I said, it's very easy for me to kind of like split those two things: him as a person, him as a wrestler. But when that news dropped yesterday, I wasn't, I didn't celebrate it, and I also wasn't gutted. I was very indifferent on it, to be brutally honest, So I hear you, brother. I hear you. Van Jimine and 999, appreciate you as always. Heard that could be it for MJF / Hurt Syndicate. I doubt it's completely over. Maybe not at all. But what about you guys? Feel like a lot of build to MJF joining if it's over. Assume they do Lash versus Max. I don't think it's over. I didn't get that vibe. So when Lashley pressured him and when Lashley put it on him, that's when was it? It was this week, wasn't it? He pressed him up against the lockers and was just like, "Yo, you need to chill." I didn't get the impression like, "Oh, Max is out." I didn't get. Yeah. I know he did the whole thumbs down gimmick, but
it did escalate quickly though, didn't it? It felt very abrupt.
It did. MJF's in a weird position, to be fair. I've found recently. Because
so he's the Syndicate. To be honest,
yeah, definitely, yeah, of course. Like, you know what I mean? They're getting hired by Copeland now as well. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what's going on there, but MJF as well, because because I was seeing that on Wednesday night, Thursday afternoon and stuff, a lot of people kind of like having criticisms and fair criticisms and complaints about kind of like how this MJF Mark Briscoe stuff is coming off. It's like an issue with it is that like it feels very side questy for me anyway. I think a core of the issue is that it feels very side questy to Max, and Max is obviously just kind of doing his usual shtick, whilst Mark is cutting these like emotional promos and stuff, and doing these things, and also playing MJF's game of kind of just doing the live segments and stuff as well. But it's like it's Mark's kind of core thing, and to MJF again, he just feels kind of side quested. So he's spread a bit thin there, because on top of that, he's just won the Casino Royale, Casino Gauntlet contract. So he's having tensions with Hangman. He's been having tensions with Hangman anyway, even before he won that contract. He's been calling out Hangman, mentioning Hangman. And then, of course, you've got the Hurt Syndicate stuff as well. So it's like, he's just kind of, like, whereas if he was just doing the Mark stuff, I think that would be a more beneficial to everybody involved, even the Hurt Syndicate, and you could get them doing, I don't know, feuding with FTR or whatever they're going to be doing next, So I do. That's just something that I've kind of picked up on recently. That MJF he does feel a bit spread thin, and it's not really benefiting anybody. Although I don't think the Mark stuff is like terrible or anything. I don't think the stuff with Hurt Syndicate is terrible. I don't think the little interactions he has with Hangman are unjustified either. But it's not as good as what I think it probably should be. So
yeah, hopefully it's not the end, and it's more a case of them finally just turning the Syndicate babyface, because let's be honest, dude, like, they're too cool and people want to cheer for them. It's been this way since they came in, look at the opponents. The FTR thing is like is such a natural match, and FTR clearly should be the heels in that match. So hopefully it's that, and they can do some stuff with that. I'm not sure what it is. I think until I see Bobby booked in a major singles match again, I'm going to be a little bit, a little suspicious, because I just think to me, their usage in the last 6 months, and let me be clear, if anyone's, not aware, because I don't know how much we talk about at this point. I love the Syndicate act. I think it's a great act. I've loved it for the last, whenever it's been around for the last 5 years. But I have to be honest, I found that this year, I feel like their usage is, to me, almost indicated like they've been parked in the tag division. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't think Tony really knows necessarily what he wants to do with them. I think the matches he would want to put Bobby in, I think Bobby would be expecting to win, and I'm not sure Tony would want him to be winning those matches, and so it feels to me like the tag division is kind of, let's just put them there for a bit and we'll figure this out.
They're struggling.
Yeah, and my leading evidence for that would be some of the opponents they've picked to wrestle them as tag champs, where it's felt like they've plucked teams like out of the air. It's been a weird thing, and that is all speculative. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think the act's great, and so maybe that's completely unfair on my part. That's just what I kind of let my calculation from just looking at the TV. Hopefully, this is them as baby faces, and Max can do something where maybe he's even aligned with FTR for a little bit, and they do a little deal where it's like a 6-man situation, so that could be interesting, stuff like that. But I just find it to be, it's a slightly odd one. And what's really interesting about this question and this topic is, when the MJF Syndicate thing started, remember the big thing we was talking about was like, the reason this is interesting is I have no idea where it's going. Mm-hmm. And I am alarmed that we were not the only ones that didn't know where it was going.
Yeah, the Hurt Syndicate, it's an their kind of time as tag champs and just as a tag team really has been interesting because, as you said, they've kind of struggled to find the right opponents that would suit how they need to be presented at the same time, And I said this on Twitter as well. I think that's kind of the case with the wider tag division as well. I think Tony, AEW, whoever's helping him, they have struggled to book a thriving tag division around a pair of champions that should, because it's not. I don't think that they shouldn't be. I think they should be presented as strong, dominant champions. 9 out of 10 of the people that they've just ran through on this run, I completely agree with them just running through. Yeah. But it's like when they struggle to build a tag team division around that, it's like you look around and there's no kind of hope. There's no upcoming challenges. There's no nothing. Do you know what I mean? And for a division like the AEW tag division, I think that's really unfortunate because there's a lot of talent in it. And again, as I said on Twitter, that's why I really love this tag tournament, because it gives them a chance and a platform to kind of show off what they have and what they potentially have in their tag division, whilst also working on building a tag division around the Hurt Syndicate for that eventual title shot. Even though they've kind of shown a bit of the hand and say FTR just go ahead and win this tournament now, face the Hurt Syndicate, there's still things you can do in these other. How many other matches? There's going to be another 7 matches or something throughout this tournament. You can build stories, you can do things, you can put duos together, and there's so many different tag teams. I can't remember if we said this, like backstage on StreamYard or whether we had the conversation on the air. But I've wanted them to do a tag, a tag tournament for a minute, because of these exact reasons that I'm just outlining now. And there's so many teams, and as we outlined in that previous stream that we did, it's like there's loads, man, and there's loads of weird duos that they can do as well, Put Kenny and Ibushi in it. They're not gonna, sure. And I don't expect them to, but they're good. It's just,
I think there is certainly immense value to the Syndicate as an act. I think Bobby is still. I think he's a box office plank. I think he's someone you can still turn to on a big show. I believe that, and I know he's a little bit divisive with AEW fans, but if you tell me Bobby Lashley's wrestling Will Ospreay at the O2 Arena, I'm going to be at the O2 Arena. You know what I'm saying? Like, I still think he's a big player. Shelton's been great. And I think Shelton's actually been very, very, he's played ball, I think, really. I think he's just a big lad, isn't he? Yeah.
I think he's 50 as well, Shelton.
Yeah, unbelievable. We did a Green Grappler about him this week. It was a really interesting look. He's had a really unique career. But they're not necessarily the right fit to be the world champions. You know what I'm saying? I think you
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to.
Oh, yeah, no.
You know, you watch that Jet Speed FTR match, and it's like they're two teams, man. They can work with any teams. You know, both of them. Like you can go whichever way you want with that. Like they, to me, and that wasn't even like my favorite FTR TV match of the month because I like the Outrunners one more. But it was a hoot, and you could do that match 3 or 4 times, couldn't you? FTR and Jet Speed. You know, you got the Bucks are on form, so you can cycle them back in. I think there's something to be said for Roosh and Multos.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, but that's the other thing is like some of the matches for the Syndicate, it feels like we haven't got are the ones like, it feels like we're never going to get that damn Joe and Hobbs versus the Syndicate match, which was the one I really wanted the whole time we were doing this thing. So we'll see, but it's an interesting spot. There's a lot of talent in the division. It's just a matter of, you know, getting things actually moving in a way that helps all involved. We shall see.
Yeah, I think hopefully this is kind of the platform that I've been looking for them to kind of, you know, launch off. Hopefully. Because it has been weird like the past year or however long it's been where the AEW tag division has felt so just kind of there, you know. Because like even when the Bucks had the belts before they dropped to Private Party, bro, it's not like they were defending every week, and it didn't like the division because of that didn't feel like the AEW tag division that we know and love. Now, granted, when the Young Bucks did show up for those defenses, they fucking showed up for those defenses. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they do. You know, but I mean, obviously them being kind of like the heel EVPs and stuff like that, like, it was just kind of you know. But even going as far back as that, and then Private Party never got the reign they should have had, and you know. And now we're here with kind of this corner that they've seemingly put themselves into with over the past few months. This isn't new, you know, with the Hurt Syndicate holding the title. So we'll see how they get out of it. But in terms of the MJF thing, I'm with you, Van Jimenez. I do doubt it's completely over, but obviously there is some things to take note of course.
Definitely.
What we got here? $6.99. Ryan, $6.99 Canadian. Appreciate it. TNA is a hilarious. TNA is a hilarious mess, but they've quietly been rebuilding the Knockouts division with Myla Grace, Mara Sade, and Lena Cross. Lena Cross was at tapings. I can't really comment because I haven't been following the Knockouts division. One thing, obviously. That's you watching it, I would assume, weekly or at least following their product a lot more than I do, because from the outside looking in, it's like, JC Jane is the women's knockouts champion, yeah, and I have nothing against Masha Slamovich. I don't think she's terrible or anything like that. She's a nice wrestler, you know. I don't think she's quite the person who's going to turn around the division or anything like that, but I do think she's a good wrestler, you know. And then the featured match on Slammiversary was Indy Hartwell versus Tessa Blanchard. And now, I know Tessa Blanchard got, quote, kayfabe, suspended indefinitely, yeah? But, you know, the two featured women's matches on their biggest show ever in the US was the Knockouts champion losing their title to a WWE wrestler and a Tessa Blanchard match, which got 1.25 stars off Dave, by the way. So,
jeez. Yeah, I mean, there's some names being added. I like Holly Hudson, who's someone they also added from Liverpool.
Okay.
She's like 20. She's really, really promising. But it also feels like they're building to Indy Hartwell being the world champion. So, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to be an asshole, but I just
that's where it gets where it's weird. I think I don't want to just like
she seems
shut
lovely.
it down.
I just don't see anything there, and that doesn't mean it isn't there. I've been wrong a million times before, but like, she seems like a very nice person, but I just don't. I do not get any sense that Indy Hartwell is like someone you should be doing some long arc to win the title. And if I'm wrong, I'll be thrilled to come on here and review the 4-star JC Jane match. But I'm gonna tell you, that is not what I see when I watch the telly. And you know I watch the TNA, so I'm aware of this.
Oh yeah, of course, mate. But yeah, man, no one. It's not like we're rooting for her to be bad. I feel like that kind of gets lost in like some of the sports convo and stuff, and Twitter and tribalism and shit these days. It's like people are so adamant at sticking to their takes that they want wrestlers and people and teams and whatever it is to fail. You know, whereas like, say for example, maybe somebody else like. We don't want JC. No, not Jay. JC's great. Indy. Indy Hartwell. When we say Indy Hartwell's not great and we have our reservations about TNA building around her and stuff, it's like, we'd love to be wrong, as Joe just said. I'd love to be wrong.
I just don't like... The matches are one thing, and they're a pretty big thing, but she doesn't have, like... She doesn't have much oomph, Monty, you know?
She honestly, bro, she has a pretty, you know, she has a good amount of charisma, you know. I don't think she's a great promo or anything, but she has a good amount of charisma that I think could be turned into her being a good promo, good character, etc., etc., etc. She did some okay character work in NXT. She's very happy to get silly and stuff like that, you know, which is fine. Okay. And she's obviously a very attractive lady as well. But her wrestling, she has a good enthusiasm for it, which, as silly as it sounds, and it sounds like the kind of backhanded they work hard thing. But I do think like having a certain level of enthusiasm that somebody like an Indy Hartwell shows will always I'll always think they've got a small chance, you know. I
just think there's something to be said for the way you project as a wrestling star. I posted this during Slammiversary, and people got very upset and thought that I was being paid by the WWF, but I mean it. That is something JC has got really good at. This is not me doing a bit, I'm being real. JC Jane,
a TV star.
When she walks through the curtain, she's projecting the energy of a professional wrestler. That's a big deal. Whether you believe she's a big deal or not is up to you. That is what she is presenting to you. And I find with Indy, and this may be her appeal, and this may be something you can lean into and do something with, but when I watch her, just being honest, as someone that watches TNA for some reason, I'm always struck by how little she comes off like someone with TV experience for someone who has genuine TV experience. Because she's actually been on TV for like years now, right? Like she was on NXT like 4 years ago, I think. I
think as well because of her character work in NXT and also like the way she's been on social media over the years, I feel like it is kind of part of her appeal to feel a bit more like personable.
She's just an old person.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But you know, still there's obviously things that she can work on. She's still pretty new. She's still pretty new.
Hopefully she does great. Does what we said. You know? I mean, it's just the problem is like it's one thing to be like a sort of personable, down to earth babyface, but you would ideally, if you were going to be that sort of babyface, you'd have like some sort of fucking.
Yeah, it's got to be matched with like two or three other things, not even just one thing, like two or three. If you're like gonna go down that, you're gonna go down that route. Plain Jane, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't. Like Bryan Danielson can go Plain Jane because he's arguably the greatest wrestler that ever stepped in the ring, you know. But and he has other like intangibles as well. So, you know, like I said, hopefully we are wrong about her, and she does. You know, she becomes one of the greatest knockouts champions that ever held that title, you know.
Hopefully.
That's what I'm rooting for, bro. I want all wrestlers to do well. Unless they're like a blatant piece of shit or whatever. But like I said, you have to separate the performer from the person in this business. Ultra Instinct 199. Off topic. Thoughts on Usyk versus Dwire. Usyk's phenomenal, isn't it? You know, it's almost not fair watching the way that he can kind of like move around heavyweights, you know. Like then when he's got the knockout power like he showed against Dwire, it's just like, man, this ain't fair, bro. You know, and when he comes out after the fight as well, and he's like, how old is he? Like 38. Yeah, he's like 38, still young. And you're like, oh my god. Who? There's nobody on the horizon, bro.
He's different. Like his biggest challenge is going to just be. It's going to be Father Time, right? But he looks like he ain't slowing down. I mean, this was his most conclusive heavyweight performance yet. This is like the most emphatically he's won at heavyweight. It was a bit to be honest, it was a bit sort of I wasn't rooting for Dwire because I don't really root. You know this about me. I'm sort of watch it like I've got the old Rob Lowe hat. I'm here just to enjoy the sport, you know. But like it was underwhelming in the sense that it was just so easy. It almost felt a bit embarrassing, didn't it? Like I didn't think Dwire would win, but I thought I thought it would be tense, and it wasn't tense. It very quickly was apparent Usyk was going to be ending the fight pretty soon, and he ended it suddenly and dramatically.
Yeah, another comparison would be kind of like when McGregor knocked out Aldo, or
like an exhale when it used to go. Oh.
Or I can imagine how like the past generations felt when they'd watch those early Tyson fights.
Yeah,
you know, it's like they get everybody, especially back in the day when you'd have the family around for the pay per view. You know, the Tyson would just come out and smoke someone in like 2 rounds.
That's what I experienced because my uncle was over from the States, and he was like. He'd seen one Dwire fight, and it was the Joshua fight, and he was like jazzed up for this. And because obviously he's just watching it casually, he goes like, "I think Dwire's going to knock him down," and all this. Like we're getting into it. And I felt bad for him because as soon as it started, you just kind of realised Usyk was just systematically breaking him down. I mean, it was unbelievable. Before he's an incredible fighter.
Yeah, he is. The new GMB 199. What match on SummerSlam card least interests you at the moment? We will get into SummerSlam, but to quickly answer this, least interested.
Okay, least interested.
Probably Tiffany Jade, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I'll say that because I'm a fan of Jade. I think people can be harsher than fair on her in a WWE run. I think she's come along pretty well. I don't think it jumped off the page how much she's come along or anything, but I think she's come along pretty well, pretty steadily, you know. And yeah, she's been doing her thing, and obviously you guys know I've been a fan of Tiffany for a while. Had to recently sell some stocks, unfortunately, but I'm still a fan. You know, I haven't completely abandoned it. John, you should have seen who I nearly invested that extra money in as well, bro. You got spooky.
What happened?
Okay, you know, fuck with it. So as you know, like I said, I had to sell some Tiffany Stratton stocks, you know, recently, and I've been looking around for market opportunities, you know, people to invest in. Honestly, bro, I'm the most caught up right now, today, 25th of July. I'm currently probably the most caught up on professional wrestling that I've been in about a year.
Okay, I'm alarmed by where this is going.
I'm locked in. I've not seen everything. The only thing that I'm not caught up on is the G1, and that is because whenever I ask my friends about it or ask the self-made Discord or anything like that about it, nobody tells me anything that I really need to go watch like that. So it's like I'm not really gonna do this, you know. But there is a part of me that thinks, you know what, fuck it, I might just sit down and watch like the Gabe Takeshita match or something like that. But yeah, to kind of cut this a bit shorter. Basically, Joe, I nearly invested in Kenta stocks. It's nearly a thing that happened.
I think you was doing the right thing, bro. I think you were doing the right thing. I
was watching it, bro.
Yeah, I agree.
That match with Keno, bro. That match with Keno is the best match Kenta's had in years. It's years, bro.
I think it's.
But yeah, Kenta, man. I think now, you know what it is? I nearly locked in the trade. You know what I'm saying? I was there, had my finger on the button, bro. And you want to know who comes out to challenge Kenta? Marufuji, bro.
Yeah, that's just too much dip on your chip.
Yeah. I was ready though, man. I was ready to invest in Kenta stocks in 2025, bro. Like, I feel like that would have been a big earner. Then Marufuji comes out, and listen, I get it, bro. Legends, you know what I'm saying? But bro, come on, man.
There's something to the Noah thing though. Like, I do think there's something to be said for us all going in on all in on pro wrestling Noah. Like, we just do like scheduled promotional posts.
By the way, people.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, Kenya's back. It does feel like if you look at the climate, the wrestling climate, it needs it right now. Us all to just go all in on pro wrestling Noah. We just post the logo.
They had Omos over there. Like, there is pieces that they could bring something together. Like, you get Omos versus 2025 Kenta. You know, Omos 20. There's pieces, Joe. There's pieces.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
I'm up for it. Here's my plan with Pro Scenario is I don't actually watch it, but I pretend I'm a huge fan. That's my plan. That's my route of attack.
But listen, that's as long as you can remember the names, you know.
Well,
Remember
by the way,
what's on the horizon. Basically, all you need to do is remember who the GHC heavyweight champion is, and you'll be all right, man.
Kobashi, I know that. What was the question, by the way? I never answered it. There was a question. Super chat. Fuck. We talking about Starks. Tiffany and Jade. I agree with you. That was all.
Yeah.
That dude. I was really bummed out. The promo they did, that video, because it was like you could tell they sort of just went, let's just do a pre-tape. But
honestly,
you gotta just let them talk and then edit it. The scripted thing, they can't. Neither of them are good at that, and it just was the delivery was so stilted, you know.
I skipped it because I knew exactly what it was going to be. Literally, bro. Like, I saw like the first 3 seconds of it or whatever it was, and I was like, I know exactly what these WWE packages are. I'm not going to be shown any like Tiffany and Jade are not going to cut some promo that I'm going to be surprised or impressed by in this sort of video package. It's just not happening because it's just not the opportunity for them to do. It was unfortunately,
like they were like outright reading. It was just if you're going to do a pre-tape, why don't you just let them do a promo and then you can try and save it in the post?
That's what I mean, and just do a few retakes. The fuck,
right? Because honestly, like. You should watch it because it was the worst way of going about it. I feel like they were reading to the point where it was like it felt like it was class. You know what I'm saying? It just didn't suit. That's the main thing with me. I actually think the match might surprise people because their SmackDown match was actually half decent. Like, there's a way to produce a good Jade and Tiffany match. It's just more that the characters feel very, very, very thin right now, don't they? They feel very. There's not a lot of juice there, personality-wise. Unfortunately, we'll see if they can come up with anything this week or next week, I guess.
No, I'm not holding out too much hope on that one, to be honest.
No, me either.
Hold on, I'm just typing out a poll.
All right, mate. Folks, we're going to be planning this Pro Wrestling Noah thing in the coming weeks. Bear with us.
We got to get Omos back.
I don't know about the Omos, because the problem with the Omos thing is they can just pull him at any moment, can't they? You know what I'm saying?
Well,
you can't be at the mercy of Jean-Paul Levesque's pencil, mate. You can't be. Trust me. I know. Now, if we were partners with TNA...
There was those talks about... Well, hold on. TNA just can't be trusted, bro.
True.
What TNA would have Omos on, bro. Like, he would be on some bullshit, bro. Like...
He'd be in the system, bro.
Probably.
Biggest spot you can have.
Come on, man.
I can't even do the TNA thing. Do you know I was supposed to do a video essay the week of Slammiversary? I just went, nope, not doing it. Just completely just threw the towel in. I couldn't even do the TNA bit up to Slammiversary. Sad.
Oh, man. It was always going to be an uphill struggle, that one, though.
Yeah, I tried my best.
Let's be real. Yeah, I got a lot of respect for you, bro, but come on.
Got a bit carried away.
Yeah. Epic Department $4.99. Appreciate it as always with the news of the fight being signed. How long until Tom Aspinall starches Cyril Gane, Monty? I think Aspinall can. Honestly, I think he can. I don't really do the whole first round knockout thing, you know, but I think he can pull that off.
Is that actually the next fight?
Allegedly so. According to Epic Department 19.
It's the absolute state of the heavyweight division. Fuck.
So, who's Jones fighting at the White House? When's that card meant to be? Does anybody in the chat know? When this White House card is meant to be back that Jones is all gassed up about and came out of retirement
just the state.
Which wasn't a real retirement because he was only retired, quote unquote, for about... How long did he fake retire for, bro? Like a month?
Apparently it's next July. Bro. This shit's
next
not happening.
July 4th, 2026. That sounds very UFC, to be fair. So, maybe it's the fight. No, but isn't fight week in July?
Yeah, it is. But, like, there's always these big grand plans, isn't there? You know? I don't know. I don't really care either anymore, to be honest. I think it'll be very one-sided.
I think Jones is... bro,
you can't care anymore, can you? You're just like...
Yeah. I think anybody who's got him as their GOAT still in 2025 is like...
Let it go, champ.
Yeah, like, come on, mate. Like, it's not even. Like, I've always argued that, you know, I'm a GSP guy, but now it's like it's not even worth your energy to argue against somebody saying that shit. You know what I mean? Like, the fact that he didn't fight Aspinall is just gonna age very poorly. But whatever. Imagine Cyril just knocks him out. Oh, that'd be tragic. UFC provides that bullshit though. Speaking of bullshit, Dylan G499. Vincent McMahon OnlyFans agency announcement might break Twitter. Listen, Vince ain't got the minerals to do that sort of fucking technology bullshit, you know? So even know what OnlyFans is, yeah. We know he's a pervert, but fucking hell. He's old. He's cooked. Anytime we see him,
Did not expect that. Did not expect that to be your route of response there. I'm going to just leave you to it. Carry on.
Anybody that's seen him, any kind of sightings of him in public, he's absolutely cooked. And I don't think anybody would want to be joining that agency anyway. So, not happening, Dylan. Pedro 499. Is this SummerSlam show a make or break for WWE as it pertains to fans' engagement with the product, with the results, or will it keep going along as usual? The wheel's gonna keep spinning, brother. It's WWE.
Yeah. I do get it though, in the sense that like
results. There's only the one result, isn't there? That I think people would crash out over.
Which one's Cena?
Cena and Cody, yeah. I feel like that's the only one that would go away that would make people really mad. I
mean, I get, because Pedro's saying, like, fans' engagement. So I do get, because obviously I think we're all aware, if you're watching this, you're aware that a make or break show don't even really exist anymore, does it? But I'll say this. If it's a weak show, it will be very much exacerbated by the 2-night thing. Very much. Like, the 2-night thing means you have to be, like, you have to... I don't think you can just put together two sort of middling shows with weak finishes on 2 nights, because people will kind of go, Jesus, that was a waste of a weekend. But yeah, I mean, nothing's make or break. I think, to be fair, I think SummerSlam's the best looking thing they've put together, like, in a minute, to be honest. Cody Cena is, as I've said a million times, I'm sorry to bore everyone, a match I never would have even touched, so I don't think that would be very good. But if you can come up with a good finish, I think Seth's going to cash in that match. I think Punk's going to win the other belt. And I think people will be happy with Punk and Seth having differing belts, coming out differing nights. And, you know, I think, like, again, it's not make or break, but to engage with it as wrestling rather than just doing, like, spreadsheet talk, it certainly would be a good time for them to have a good fucking pay-per-view, because Evolution was honestly an outlier coming out. I mean, it's been a pretty thin year on the pay-per-view front, or PLE front, I should say. I apologise.
Yeah, the way Triple H does his pay-per-views, that's all, man.
Yeah, they're so thin. And I don't even think most of them are bad. Do you? Like, most of them, you and I talk afterwards, like, that was fine. They're just not, like... They're not notable, are they, really, you know? Do you think Punk's beating Gunther, won't he?
Bro, I just...
My God, head in hands.
You know how I was about Cena a few months ago?
Oh, you're not there with the big man.
Nah.
No.
No. Chill out. Bro, this Seth stuff.
It's over, bro. He's going to beat Gunther.
I hate it. I hate it, bro.
It's all over, don't worry about it.
So basically, what you're telling me here is that
Seth
turns heel at WrestleMania and gets Heyman, and Heyman screws Roman and CM Punk, yeah? He starts a new group with Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed, where they have floated very dangerously close to being lackeys. Obviously, that's kind of been rectified in recent weeks. Seth then gets injured, which is clearly like being used in storyline. Like, they're not even doing it in a way where you can believe it. You know? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they're doing shit like Paul Heyman will do a backstage promo with like Jackie Redmond or something, and he'll be like, Seth is gonna be gone for a long, long time. Do you know? They're doing like all that shit, and he's like, bro, fuck, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, they make it so it's so obvious that even if you wanted to believe it at first, you'd feel silly for believing it now. So, like, I just think the fact that they're trying to do this like work shoot thing with Seth, and just to have him potentially cash in at SummerSlam, and then have Triple H at the press conference be like, "This is what we do." Like, bro, get the fuck out of here. Like, I just can't deal with that.
But do you not think the actual swerve is he cashes in on Cody rather than Punk?
I don't think the Seth stuff is good. Like, he's not cut one good promo since turning heel. Not one. And Lord knows he's had plenty of opportunities because he opens Raw every single week with a 20-minute promo. You know? So it's like...
You've had enough, and you.
This is what I'm saying. Like, I could fuck with that if Seth was actually showing us something good before they did this fake injury, maybe minor injury that they're exaggerating bullshit that they're doing right now. Because you saying to me, Seth is going to walk out of Cody and Cena with the world title. I'm like, bro, this guy needs to fuck off. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't do this.
Well, I'm not going to argue with you. I mean, it sounds good to me.
No, I know you're not fucking going to be fighting the corner of Seth Rollins being world's champion. But every time I warm to not being as critical, harsh, or whatever, or disliking Seth as much, he'll go on a run that just pushes me to a point where I just have to throw my hands up and be like, bro, this guy is not like he. So you see that you see that MJF quote the other day? Earlier today, where he's like, Seth's gonna go down as one of the best baby faces in WWE history. I'm just like, this fucking piece of shit. This piece of shit, man.
You're legitimately mad about this. This is unbelievable. I didn't realise. We haven't spoken about this, so I didn't know.
Monty, remember the segment? Ibu says, Monty, remember the segment where he let Bron and Heyman do all the talking? It was sick. Okay.
Well,
but like
propaganda.
No, but the thing is, it's like that's also part of the point. It's just like Seth himself since Mania has done nothing for me, like nothing, bro. And he's been put. And this is what happens with Seth Rollins every single time. How have we ended up here? But this is what happens with Seth Rollins every single time, bro. Every single time. It doesn't matter if he's a babyface or a heel. Yeah, he's a good wrestler. He's not He's not a complete scrub. Like, I won't go there. I won't just lie for the sake of lying. Yeah, he's a good wrestler. That he's never going to be best in those top positions. You know, he's not your top babyface. He's your second or third top babyface. He's not your top heel. He's your second or third top heel. Those are the positions that he's best suited for. Those are the positions where he thrives the most, and people want to see more of him. And even some people want to see him push to that top position until it gets there, and then he doesn't produce the way that you'd want him to produce. It's happened with him as a babyface. It's happened to him as a heel, and now he's literally been. He gets the huge Mania moment with Punk and Roman, and he comes out of it the big man with Heyman, and it's like he's starting a new group and shit like that. And what has he produced, bro? Not one good promo, you know? Not one good promo. Then physically, he's half cooked. And let's be real about it. Like, I'm not going to say he's completely washed or anything. Seth is definitely capable of having good matches on a regular basis. But it's like, injuries are becoming more frequent and stuff like that. Like, he's just not the sort of guy you can hang your hat on in one of those top positions now. I don't think he ever has, but now more than ever, just let it go, bro. Just please let it go. Seth being your top heel, bro. Give me a break. Like, give me a break. Seth Rollins a top heel in WWE in 2025. Come on, bro. Let's have Braun Breaker spear him, get it over with, man. Like, what are we doing? Like.
Am I the one that inspired this? Have you?
You know what that was, bro. It's been building for a minute because I've been quiet. I've been biting my tongue on this guy Seth Rollins. You know, I've been biting my tongue because, you know, it's not like it's not abhorrently terrible. Like, he's not going out there and absolutely stinking it up. Like, he's not doing that. But at the same time, Mania was in April, bro. We're nearly in August, and he's done nothing. Like, what? So, you know, then the idea of Braun Breaker the idea of Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed kind of like, because in some weeks they've been presented as like they've been presented pretty well, and in some weeks, like I've already stated, like they've floated dangerously close to being like lackeys and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Where they run out, they get beat up by the baby faces, and Seth runs away. Do you know what I mean? Like shit like that. It's like, bro, that is dangerous. Like, especially someone like Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed. This channel knows how. Like, I don't give a fuck, you know. But like Bron Breakker, like that's offensive, you know. I just bro. Ibu asked something in the chat. Monty, what did you think of the Braun Roman seg? Funny. In a word, very, very, very funny. Because
Okay.
Roman Reigns is one of the funniest wrestlers around today. Like the way that he just he loved the idea of being in the ring of like, oh, it's my turn of being in the ring with the guy that's next up now. Do you know what I mean? And he was just then like the actual content of the promo itself was just babyface cliche kind of bullshit. Really, there weren't really anything. Like, I think he genuinely thought of what he was gonna say as he was walking to the ring, like that kind of shit, you know. Bron Breakker obviously came across very well in it, and I think he does when he gets the opportunities to do that, you know, to, you know, see if he can, you know, those sink or swim positions, like you're doing a live segment with Roman Reigns, you know. And granted, yeah, he had Heyman there, and he was kind of more the focus of it. But Bron Breakker always comes across very well. He never looks out of his depth on that. But yeah, like Roman was doing that thing where like, you wanna kill me? Like Roman was trying so hard to kind of like get a little jab on him that he felt like he would have got from like Cena back in the day. Yeah, like everyone remembers like those notorious segments. And he's like, Bron Breakker said something, and Roman was like, "Oh, speak up." He's like, Bron Breakker didn't even need to speak up. Like he was very clear, you know. Roman was like, "Oh, speak up, little bro." Like,
That's top guy. Like, that's just what top guys are gonna do, man. Like if they know someone's intended to be up next, it ain't even like a spiteful thing. It's just we'll see. We'll see how they do. You know, it's a bravado thing.
Deep end, brother.
Yeah, exactly, and it's a healthy thing. I don't think that's an issue. I think that's actually good. I think you should, you know, challenge the young guys. So the match is a tag match, right? So with Jay.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That should be fun.
Yeah, it will, man. It will. Obviously, I know Dave said a couple of weeks ago, but initially the idea was maybe doing 2 singles matches with Jay versus Bronson and Roman versus Braun, but it's like, that feels political. Do you know what I mean?
I don't think
Roman and Bron Breakker at this point feels political, awkward to book a finish off. Because I think doing it this early on to just have Bron, because obviously ultimately you want Bron Breakker going up on Roman. You know what I mean? Like ultimately,
some people do. Yeah.
Roman's got mad motion like that though, bro. Like he could be facing the most promising up and coming prospect. Like Bron Breakker does fit that description, to be fair. And people will still be like, "Yeah, man, you gotta look at the lights of the tribal chief, B." You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously, like I said, I think it would be political to try to figure out the finish of Bron Breakker versus Roman Reigns this early into them interacting with each other. You know, I know that obviously Bron Breakker like wrote him off for a couple of months post Mania, but like now this is not the first time they're actually like interacting properly with each other. You know, so obviously you want to keep building that. I think there was that report. It might have been Body Slam or PW Insider, someone like that, saying that obviously WWE see this match as a potential Mania main event. So. If Bron Breakker's pushed the way that he's supposed to be pushed, then I don't see no reason why not. You know, so. So did you see the segment, Roman and?
I saw Bron's part of it.
Okay. He comes across well, doesn't he? He holds it
I
down.
liked it. I think it is like a long way for him to go, but I think he already has he has the right idea for what I want from a wrestling promo, in that he's like cocksure and he's aggressive and talks like an athlete, which is, again, he can get better, but I think that's like what I just generally want his approach to be. It's partly why I don't love and this is not something I've seen a ton of, this is just purely a gut feeling thing. I don't actually love Paul Lee as a Bron Breakker like associate because Paul Lee he's like a cartoon character. And I think Braun should just be like straight ahead. And I think it's a weird marriage. Whereas when he was a cartoon character of Roman's like fucking doing theater, any next to him. It's like it kind of works.
Yeah,
really good.
I agree.
Like,
I just
yeah. No, it's interesting.
I don't think any of this has worked well for me, but not in a way that it's so disgracefully bad where you need to pull the plug on it straight away. And obviously, some people, do you know? Yeah. It's like Seth and Heyman is never a pairing I'd do. Ever. That is just never. That is just like I get. Oh, we wanted to do the surprise shock value moment. Like no, that is just never something I'd do. Especially when like Heyman Punk is like right there. Like I don't know, but
yeah, I do think, and I know he's over huge and people still love him. I think it's probably about time for Punk to be a heel. To be honest with you, I really do. I
was ready for it, Mania, bro. I was ready for it, Mania. But
yeah.
But yeah, as you said, Heyman and Bron Breakker isn't quite the
it's not natural.
What's the word? The
fit.
Yeah, the fit, and as you kind of outlined as well, the Heyman just isn't the archetype that I'd want next to Bron Breakker. You know, like it would be somebody a bit more stoic, professional, like a coach. Do you know them ones? Like
I can do it.
Coach all but out the hat on. Play sheet like on
nitro cap.
Yeah.
I think it'll be this is something that genuinely interests me. How he approaches the match, Bron, that is fascinating to me. Because Bron Breakker was someone he was obviously a natural. Like if you watch his first matches in NXT, it was like holy shit. Like he had a lot of immediate attributes. And I think it's been really interesting to watch him figure out like the evolution of that. And I think one of the things that I remember talking about this a lot when the creeds came up, and I think a lot of it's been validated. One of the things that's really challenging is maintaining this sense of like meathead, chaos, excitement. Frankly, this just being a Steiner. Maintaining that within a WWE big match is really, really challenging. Really, really challenging. And Bron has done a good job of it. Like, Bron will still, in random matches, do stuff that makes no sense and looks really stupid. And that's a compliment, because that's the correct way to be a Steiner, as has been proven. That will be a really interesting thing to monitor in a Roman Reigns match, because Roman Reigns is at the wheel in those matches, dude, you know? Like, we was at the tribal Civil War. Bloodline Civil War, yeah.
Yes, brother.
There's tribal combat thing, and we definitely weren't at that. It was just Bloodline Civil War. And, like, it was very obvious. Roman would be on the apron. He was conducting that match. Like, he's the one who's deciding when the match is going to go up, when it's going to go down, where it's going to go. Like, that's a really interesting challenge for Bron. And I think it's a good idea to have them do a tag and figure out what that should look like. There's a version of that match that is really explosive. I mean, super exciting. Is that a version we see in 2025 or 2026? I'm not sure. You know, Roman has definitely got into a different mode in recent years, and sometimes it works, sometimes less so. But I'm really interested to see how he approaches, you know, because Bronson Reed, he's been wrestling for a really long time, you know. He'll be a lot easier to just kind of plug in. So it'll be interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't want to get naive, you know. I don't want to get too hopeful. You never can. But I do seem to lean on them going the more explosive route. And I'll tell you what, because with like Bloodline Civil War and even some of the other tag matches like with Cody or the Solo and all that sort of shit, yeah, it's they've been weighted down or uplifted, however you want to describe it, but a lot of people would say weighted down by the amount of depth that the stories those matches had. Do you know what I mean? Like Bloodline Civil War, do you know what I mean? Like that don't need to explain that. And the stuff with Cody, stuff with Solo, all that sort of stuff. So like there'd be like the matches could be a lot slower. Do you know what I'm saying? The matches could be a lot slower. Roman could do his dialogue Solo could do his dialogue. All these different things were happening, you know. I think with this one though, I don't think obviously Roman's fucking over, and there may be a certain pacing because it's Roman Reigns. He's gonna pace matches how he paces matches, isn't it? But I don't think it will get as like obnoxious, you know, because said I don't think they have the actual story to lean on. The main things they're going to be leaning on is just Roman being the most over babyface fucking ever. Like, well, not ever, but you know, he's insanely over right now. Roman is, and anytime he tags in, it's going to be a moment. Jay is going to be able to fill space really well. He's going to be able to sell. He's going to be able to do all that sort of stuff. That's his bag in these sort of matches, you know. And obviously Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed, they can be plugged in very well if agented properly or conducted properly by Big Rome, you know.
To your point, I think it's clear that the right version of this match is a more explosive one. I mean, I don't really see a great reason to have the Braun, you know, the Braun combination leading a 15-minute control segment. But we're going to find out because I think there's a real chance that Roman just believes that this is the correct way to do it now. And here's the thing. You and I can disagree with that. The chat can disagree with that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think he's wrong per se.
This is it, right? The way he'll look at it is the people get into it when he makes his comeback and they like it when they go... Like, that's generally you'll see when a guy has a run that he believes to be a successful run, and no question Roman had that, even if it was divisive in some corners. They get very attached to their formula. Roman Reigns has wrestled 3 matches this year, one of which was the Royal Rumble. The Solo Sikoa singles match, which is his only singles match of the entire year, went 21 minutes. The Triple Threat WrestleMania went 32 minutes. Again, this is not me. Hopefully, maybe I'm off, you know, completely off track, and they come out and have this 15-minute fucking Tokyo Dome slugfest. What I honestly think we're going to get is around 20 plus. I think Jay's going to take an extended heat segment along the way. We shall see. Roman has become a fascinating watch in that when he's gone, he's now gone so often, he feels kind of... He honestly feels kind of like absent. Like, and that's stupid. Of course he's absent. He's not fucking there. But what I mean is, you almost forget he's in the scene, don't you?
Yeah.
But then when he comes back, in an instant, he can just become the guy again, can't he? Because he's got so much TV invested in him. Yeah. You know, he was champ for 18 years or whatever. So he's in a really weird place, and you can't figure out what it means long term. You can't figure out. I can't figure out anyway. Like, is he going to be working WrestleManias in 2030? Is this his schedule now forever? Does he just keep doing this, or is this the last leg of his career? I would presume the latter, but why would it be if they're going to keep, you know, if he's going to be able to do this?
Yeah,
the
they're
crowd
paying
still
so
loves
much
it.
money as
Right,
well, and he's got it so nice, bro. It's like, I get it, you know. He's also made so much already, where it's also you understand if he's just going to be like, yo, peace, you know.
Right.
But
it's a weird one.
Yeah,
he kind of has Brock's schedule, doesn't he? Basically, he's like Brock. Fascinating. If that, right?
I was gonna say, yeah. A few little notes from Brother Ibu. Since he was who started this convo with us. Talking about the segment, it felt like Roman doesn't rate Braun and wanted to make it clear. What do you know, Ibu? You know, Joe Braun called Roman old. He did.
I saw he was like
straight up, bro.
He said he's not relevant anymore. Right? That was good stuff, man.
Scoop alert, I guess. Internally, Roman intends for this to be his last tag match with Jay. Apparently, you'd shed tears of joy if Roman pinned Roman.
DM night, that is, right. He's not going to pin. He's going to pin Bronson Reed. I mean,
this was a good point. This is actually what I call, you know. Someone on the timeline posted CM Punk's fuck Hulk Hogan promo from earlier this year, and I feel like we haven't got enough of that feel this year. Yeah, we definitely haven't, bro. Definitely haven't. Him jumping up on the announce table and just fucking calling out everyone, just sending random shots at Dwayne like he was ever going to get anything back. Like, that's kind of like the unhinged like Punk that we need, you know. Yeah. No, maybe unhinged isn't the right word, but like that sort of like energy,
unhinged.
like that energy, you know.
It was, dude, after the Drew feud, few and far between, really. I don't know. I don't want to get dramatic about the Punk thing, because I think Punk's now at a point where like every conversation about him is like fucking life and death in it, you know? He's just... This is me personally, and I completely understand as a man that is now... how old is Punk? 46 years old or something?
Oh, yeah, he's up there, bro.
Yeah, he's probably comfortable not being the rebel anymore. I get it, I understand it. He's happy, content. If I was booking him, I wouldn't be thrilled with how, like... part of the furniture he feels, to be honest. If I was booking him as a person, he could do what he wants.
Yeah, but have you considered that person is Triple H?
Well, I consider it. Certainly. You know what I'm saying, right? Like,
no, 100%. Like me or you, yeah. But like we know Triple H is, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't want to project it onto. Because what I mean is, I don't want to be the guy who's going, "Where is his rebellious spirit?" And it's like, well, he's nearly 50, and I mean, he's probably had enough of it. But from a wrestling presentation, when you're talking about the character, he should still feel like a guy who can show up and break the TV and fucking change. You know what I'm saying? Like, instead he just is sort of like, I used to joke with Ibu, Raw's fill-in friends, and it's just he just shows up, he does his promo, he argues with someone. They never, sometimes they wrestle occasionally.
100%.
Yeah,
no,
it needs a bit of an edge.
It's a very valid way to feel about it, because I kind of do feel the same, and I feel the same as what Ibu was saying in the chat. Look, we haven't got enough of the energy that we'd like to see from Punk this year. So whoever's fault that is, whether it's the booking, whether it's him wanting to not be that edgy or whatever anymore, it's
that's his magic, dude. The intangible of CM Punk, and he has obviously many strengths, and he'll still have. I think him and Gunther are gonna have a great match, regardless of what we're discussing. But his greatest strength as a pro wrestling legend has always been his ability to transform the show with a live microphone. That's always been his appeal. And there were even collisions, and he had some... In ring, I thought physically he was struggling during the collision run. I think he's looked a lot sharper, actually, in this latest run. But as a promo, he still had that... When we used to do Worldwide on the Monday after collision, when he would have a live promo, you went, what's he going to say? He needs to get that back. That's part of his appeal. And it can, again, it can just... This isn't about the person. I don't give a damn. He can do whatever he wants in real life. But the character needs that edge. It's important to who he is as a wrestler.
Yeah, 100% agree. So hopefully we'll see how it all plays out over the next couple of months. And obviously, of course, following the Gunther match, which, like Joe, I expect to be pretty good, at least. Ibu asks, question, fellas, how long does this go and where is it placed on the card? Talking about the tag match with Rome. I think it opens night 2.
Opens, yeah. Because he's not in a main event, it will open.
Ibu, you ask this, you know better than me and Joe as well. If it's Roman, you know where Roman's going on that card, bro. He's opening it or he's closing it. Like, that's
24 minutes. 24 minutes. 6.3 on cage match. Dave 3 3/4.
Yeah, I'm very close to that. The 6.3 on cage match is...
Whole but 3.5 on drop
kicks. It's pinpoint, that is, brother. Pinpoint. All right, let's fly through these super chats real quick. Got a couple of things I want to talk about when we're getting out of here. GMB 199. Looks like Oba versus Javon is happening now. Thoughts? I think the timing of it's quite weird because it doesn't feel like this is like Javon's moment, and it almost weirdly feels like too early for them to just put the belt on Javon. So I think Oba might just beat Javon, which is weird because I think they should have been building Javon up as the person to beat Oba, and it just does not feel like that. So they might still do it. Sean's booking, I'm not going to go on another rant because I could probably go on a rant more passionate and longer than that Seth one that accidentally happened a few minutes ago, but I don't even know how that happened. But anyway, Sean's booking of NXT, bro. I'm in such a weird position with it as well because most people who are like critical of wrestling or review wrestling, like they don't even fucking watch NXT because it's just backwards. Do you know what them ones like? So like, as somebody who's does try to watch things through kind of like a not a completely critical lens. I do watch as a fan just to enjoy, but do you know what I mean? And then obviously just like watching it out of necessity when I was covering it and stuff like that on the Wrestle Purist page. It's like anybody who's actually like watching it closely enough, it would drive you mad, bro. Because like it just doesn't. There's people that should be positioned in different ways. There's people that are getting pushed that shouldn't be getting pushed. There's people who aren't getting pushed that are just floating. You don't know why. There's people who shouldn't even be on NXT. They should be on the main roster. And it's just a whole like, you know what I mean? I could just, like I said, I could really get into it. But
Match should
I'm
be
not
good
going
though,
to.
shouldn't it? The match should be.
Yeah,
Really good.
Oba versus the match will be very, very good, no doubt about it. But yeah, I'm not sure what way the result goes. I'm kind of questioning it. Jan Theodore, $2 Canadian. Joshi Fed's out drawing the G1 climax is very funny. Yeah, G1 is it's not drawing big houses at the moment. You know,
Jesus.
New Japan's in a tough spot at the moment with kind of like what's on the horizon, who's on the horizon, and all that sort of stuff. So I do hope they figure it out. I think we all hope they figure it out because the trajectory at the moment isn't great. Darren Walker, £2. Noah coming to LNG soon. Yeah, man.
If you want, yeah.
Jumanji Hunter, $2. Trick bumping for Taker is crazy. What are we doing? Yeah, it serves absolutely nobody, bro. Yeah, it serves nobody. There's no rub off it or anything like that, man. It just serves nobody. It serves nobody. So
There was absolutely one person, at least one person in the process that was like popping huge with the fact he's the TNA champ, right? 100%. I don't know who it was, but there was at least one person in the room going, "No, this is fucking awesome."
Dylan Riley, $5 at Backlash. At Backlash, I saw models were promoting real American beer, and everyone was heckling and laughing at them, calling Hogan racist. It was kind of funny. Oh, come on, they were innocent ladies, you know.
Backlash, my god, that's wild.
Jumanji Hunter, $2. What do you think happens during Mox vs Hangman? Put a pin in that because I do want to quickly go over some AEW stuff.
Okay.
So put a pin in that, brother. Black Yakuza 94. Do you think they want to put a bow on the Cody and Cena stuff and end SummerSlam on a high note? I hope so, or end it on the Seth cash in and write off Cody.
The latter, I'm afraid, mate. It's the latter.
Anyway, Ultra Instinct 199. This Ibu guy should send super chats. Not gonna lie. You know what it is, bro? He's an EVP, so it's like
He thinks the chat is his little solo show where he can just talk to himself the whole time. Bro.
Mazda 84 199. Which active wrestler does the best blade job?
Moxley, Mark Briscoe. Trying to think of surrounding names. Trying to think
Mox
who else
is
is like a
savage.
You know, Will is
He
a
probably
good
is
bloke.
just Mox.
Will
I
gets
feel
good
like
juice, dude. Will Ospreay, he gets good juice too. Tony Storm's a good one.
Tony's a great one. Tony and Mox stand out to me. Maybe a slight bias towards Tony because she's a woman, and obviously it's a lot rarer and it's a lot more striking when it happens. Like the Crimson Mash she had at the Hollywood ending was like unbelievable. You know,
Hangman's another good one in the chat. Hangman's a good one.
I think the actual real answer is just Mox. I feel like we've just become a little bit numb to it because in that stretch in like 22 or whenever it was where you'd blade literally every single week. When Mox wants to run that blade, brother, he does it with purpose. He does it with pride. You know,
the chat, as they should, represents TNA nicely. Steve Macklin. He's had two insane, like legitimately uncomfortable watch blade jobs. The one with PCO and the one with Eric Young were both unbelievable. So yeah.
good shit, man. Good shit. I love a blade job, you know. Obviously, there's time and place for it, but I do love a good one, you know. I always just wanted to talk about AEW, just quickly, kind of general chit chat, broadly talk about it. Of course, we just mentioned Hangman versus John Moxley 2. Well, not 2, it's like 5 or whatever it is, you know, but 2 in this kind of era of the Death Riders, you know. Hangman versus Mox set for next week on Dynamite in Chicago. Everybody's banned from ringside. One wouldn't be blamed for just assuming that Hangman just wins valiantly and comes across great, but you want to kind of monitoring at the moment. I'd imagine most people are as well, bro. Like the past couple of weeks is like, when does Darby really come into play?
This is the thing, innit? Yeah.
Like when, because he's like, okay, what's the name of the show? All In. You know, he shows up on the Titantron and he does get involved in it and shit, you know. And then obviously the past 2 weeks on Dynamite, he's just been kind of gives that those eerie stares, you know. He hasn't jumped in and got involved. Like, we don't know what his actual. We know it's going to be the Death Riders, but we don't know what way that direction's going, you know. So that is just one thing I'm kind of wondering about. Is like, where does Darby play into this match? I know everyone's banned from ringside, but it's just like,
it feels like there's a catch.
What are they doing?
Yeah, it feels like it's going to be a catch where, like, the stip is almost a technicality. You know, that they find a way where Darby does something, but it isn't at odds with that stipulation. It just feels like there's going to be something where when it happens, we're going to go, oh, that's why they did that deal. It could be, and to be honest, maybe it should be. Maybe Mox's just going to put him over in the middle with the buckshot. You know, we'll see.
Yeah, that would be. I think I'd be happy with that, you know?
Certainly, so far so good. It's early days, but Hangman is champion. Really happy to see that he isn't just like. I was fearful he was going to go full team with Utah and fucking, you know, like that was so encouraging to see him just win like that. It was. They don't do that enough,
definitely.
man. Hierarchy, like that's one of the biggest
100%.
things they've done this year. So far so good. If the finish is as simple as Mox just winning it, sorry, Hangman just winning again, not Mox. Hangman just winning again, that would be great. But I feel like I think we're on the same page. There's some sort of twist in the towel here, not a title change, but some sort of quirky finish.
Yeah, something. Even if it's not this match, just like what. So what's going on, you know? Like, obviously they're up to something. That's the point. That's what they want us to be thinking as well, I think. So, you know, but in general, I think AEW, just kind of the general feel around the promotion, to avoid the cliche of the feeling, but just the general feel, the vibe around AEW at the moment is really positive. I think it's helped massively by Hangman being, presented the way that we all kind of hoped he would. Especially, I think the way that he just ran through Wheel, as Joe said, very promising to see that they're not getting caught in doing kind of one of the negative tropes of AEW, isn't it? It's where like every match has to go like fucking 15 minutes when really like Hangman should be running through guys like you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, just the way that the way people react to him, the way people feel when he's out there, the way he's carrying this belt at the moment, it's all very like it's good shit, you know. Good shit.
Yes.
Fans are fucking with it. It's very positive, and there's multiple directions that are on the horizon for Hangman, you know. So we'll see how all that goes. And I definitely wouldn't be against Hangman. Just bookshot 1, 2, 3, man. Would not be
Probably
against
the play.
it.
It's probably the right play, to be honest. It would do a lot for Hangman to just solidify, stamp, you know, like he's the guy right now. So
Yeah, especially when it's a champion that was as imposing as Mox over the promotion, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I guess kind of a negative would be, well, definitely a negative, Ospreay's injury. You know, he came out and spoke to the people on Wednesday, and he basically revealed he went and had an MRI scan, and that revealed that he has 2 herniated discs. I think he said he's C2 and he's C6, I think. Don't quote me on that specific, but he has 2 herniated discs that are now going into and putting pressure on his spinal cord. And then he says, you know, but the good thing is it is treatable, and I'll be back in a month at Forbidden Door. Like, bro made it sound like he was about to fucking die, bro. Especially when we were all still traumatized by that Adam Cole promo at All In, you know, and he comes out, it's like, I just wanted to talk to you guys, you know. But when you start it with that shit, like, I just wanted, like, he's like, Tony didn't even know I was here, you know, I just wanted to talk to you guys and just be transparent. You're like, whoa. And then he's like, yeah, I should be back by Forbidden Door. I think that's very optimistic, and of course Will Ospreay will always be super optimistic about these things, and will push through things and will wrestle through these things, you know. But yeah, he's very, obviously Forbidden Door was meant to be built around him, and now that's kind of up in the air, which is super unfortunate. I'm sure there'll be other opportunities for Will in that sort of, I know they don't come to the UK every week, but I'm sure there'll be other opportunities for Will to do big things over here. But yeah, man, maybe he's back at Forbidden Door, maybe he's back in a couple of months, you know. I personally myself, I'm not getting my hopes up for him being at Forbidden, or wrestling on Forbidden Door, you know. But we'll see what happens, bro. The presentation was weird enough that I'm not even sure where the fiction starts and ends at this point. To be honest, it was that strange that I was kind of like, I don't even know what the real injury is.
It was all very odd because you say it was like very severe and then it was a month. So hopefully he's okay. Obviously, it would. It was fascinating. The whole thing was just very like it was slightly odd, and hopefully he's okay, and hopefully whatever the situation is, the real one, because I'm not certain where it does. What the truth is. Nor do I have to be. It's his business. If he's legitimately injured, obviously you do hope things are taken seriously because I think Will has pushed through many, many injuries in his career. Probably too many if we're being honest with each other. Right? So we'll see.
Yeah, definitely. We already spoke about the tag tournament. We don't need to revisit that, although I'm not sure how far you would have to go back to get to that convo. So the tag tournament, very happy about seeing that. There was something we spoke about MJF and kind of how he's spread a bit thin recently. I think he's probably the most benefit. I know it might sound a bit mad, but like, doesn't Mark kind of need to just beat MJF now?
So here's the thing. Unless there is a clear plan of him. So he needs to at some point get serious and win a big match. So the only alternative to that is that you have a clear, like, he's going to do it at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you know Max is cashing in and then Mark's going to win the belt at fucking Revolution 2026 and we're going to do a long build, that's different. But you do need to be like, and I've kind of mentioned this elsewhere, and I'm always hesitant with it because I love Mark Briscoe. I mean, God, we all love Mark Briscoe. You do have to be careful with him being like a caricature of himself because he's better than that. And like, yes, he is very funny. Very, very, very funny. But he's also like an incredible pro wrestling promo. And he did and I know this is the story they're telling, which is why, to me, it's like, I think this is where they're going. His promo before All In, the pre-tape on Collision, was so good, dude. Like the one where he was all business. And so I'm hoping his return to the comedy this week was an intentional, like, he's yet to kind of flip that switch. Him and Max as a program has unbelievable potential. They've barely scratched the surface because thus far they've been doing very, very light-hearted, silly stuff, and the crowd likes it. But man, when it comes time for, Max to get some heat on him and he gets busted open and Mark's kind of promo through blood, and when it gets time for them to have a match that's physical and aggressive, there's a lot to be done here. I hope that is where we're headed. And I think it is, because Max's content kind of suggested that there's going to be a shift in tone at some point. So, but I agree with you. You have to be, you have to protect Mark as a babyface, no question.
I'd honestly, I think I'll just have him do this because I think it kind of validates them doing this. Because if MJF, because it's clear that they're obviously going to have a match, and say MJF just beats him, and even if he's cheating or whatever, and he's meant to be part of Mark's story or whatever, and Mark's going to win the belt in years, like it would make this feel a bit redundant, especially with how thin Max has been spread recently. It would feel very redundant just to be like, oh well, Max is going to do his shtick with Mark.
You don't want to just deal with
he's just
going
to beat him. Like Mark should beat him, bro. So, and the last couple things, did a nice little Okada and Swerve angle the other day. Thekla, Sky Blue, and Julia Hart, Joe. What do you think, mate? Taking over. It works. I think it works for me,
I don't see.
And I'm not crazy about any of them, but I just think it kind of works for me.
I don't know. I kind of liked Thekla as like this weird lady on her own.
I do hear
weird
that.
Spider lady. I didn't really understand like what her thing was, but she popped me. Like I never really got the shtick, but she just, I thought she was fun to watch. I
think there's a. I don't know. I just felt like there was like a clear ceiling on Thekla. That's the thing, and there still is,
Probably,
but it's just kind of like, Sky and Julie, obviously people that they want featured on the shows. That's always going to be an unavoidable thing. So if people's like reservations about it is like, oh well, I don't want Sky and Julie on the show, it's like, well,
they're going to be on the show.
Yeah, like. So I'd rather it be with something with a bit with something to it, and it also it opens up different things for Thekla to do, if that makes sense, Yeah,
there's a version of it that like hides everyone's weaknesses, which would be good. So yeah, I see what you're talking about. It's just you hope it isn't one of those things where they just sort of lump people together in these nondescript pre-tapes. Hopefully everyone keeps their personality, whatever that personality is. In some cases,
it's okay. I'd agree with this as well, to be honest. Even with everything I've just said, like Kale says he didn't need Aminata feud to have Hart and Sky. And it's like, yeah, I'd agree with that. But that could still be the case even with them making this group. And just because you make the group doesn't mean that you have to do the way that they've done it, you know. But the idea of the trio, it kind of works for me. What else we got? WWE has fell out with Travis Scott, Joe. Heartbreaking.
Dude, I'm so relieved they didn't have him be the main event of WrestleMania finish. That would be so embarrassing. Could you imagine?
Oh, imagine they did that.
Oh my god, bro. That'd be so
John
embarrassing.
Cena's last WrestleMania as well, bro.
That would be even worse. 17th title win.
That'll live forever, bro, you know.
People rewatching
Record
it forever,
breaker.
like, oh my god, that'd be so embarrassing. Thank God they didn't do that.
Can't believe it.
The least surprising breakup ever, WWE and Travis Scott. Fucking, of course Travis Scott didn't commit to a training camp to wrestle, man. Jesus.
I think everyone's just going to be Bad Bunny. Like, and it's like, nah, bro. Like, what are we on? Bad Bunny and Jelly Roll. So, nah,
The big two.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Bad Bunny, self-admitted mark. You know what I'm saying? Then Jelly Roll's just gassed because he's lost enough weight, bro. Well, that's what he's on. Like, that's what he's on. You know? So, you know. Someone like Travis Scott, bro, that ain't happening, bro. He's just fucking sipping lean and making fucking... I don't really rate... I've never really rated Travis Scott. I was going to say I'm just making shit music, but...
Remember the WrestleCrew show where you just dismissed his star power and the chat had a big argument about it? Do you remember that? You were like,
because I felt misunderstood then, you know, because it was like I wasn't dismissing. I wasn't fully just like, yeah, he's not a star. Like, obviously he's a star, but it's just kind of like it felt like they were presenting him like they just walked fucking. He was like one of the hottest celebrities out there. Like Sabrina Carpenter, she's like the it girl at the moment.
imagine she got involved.
She comes out in the middle of Tiffany and Jade. That's SummerSlam, brother. What do you think? Do you think Cardi gets like physically involved or what? Because I feel like she's crazy enough. I don't hate Cardi B. I can't lie, man. I do not hate Cardi B.
No, I'd forgotten that was the thing. When I was in Vegas, they played that trailer like 85 times, the Cardi B SummerSlam one, and I'd forgotten. Maybe she'll do something with like Chelsea Green or something.
Yeah, that would work. Yeah, that would work well.
Yeah.
That's a beauty of having somebody like Chelsea Green as well, is that she's somebody that can do this shit with the celebrities or whoever, and it can be done in a way that isn't too invasive on the show, you know, or storylines or anything like that. So, obviously Naomi, they've gone back and forth on Twitter, I think, once or twice. So we'll see how it goes, man. But SummerSlam's on the horizon. Someone asked earlier the least thing we're looking forward to. We both said Tiffany and Jade, which is unfortunate because I think we're fair to say we both like both women, and it's unfortunate that that's what we're coming out with. Just quickly though, what would you say are you most looking forward to as a looking at the card though? Like, obviously, like Cena, Cody's like the most, I guess, intriguing. Like, what are they gonna do? Are they gonna do it? Are they not gonna do it? Blah blah blah. But yeah, like what? Obviously, there's Punk and Gunther as well. That seems like a pretty obvious one. But you know, you got Io, Rhea, Naomi. You got the Jelly Roll tag. You got who? Our girls going for the tag titles. You know,
I want to see that. I want to see Punk and Gunther. And when it's added, I want to see AJ and Dom. Those are the matches I actually care
about.
It
has been added.
Okay, yeah, I think that could be really good. I actually do think the women's tag title match could be really good. That may age poorly. I don't really care. I just pretend I didn't say it. I think Raquel and Roxanne.
If the agents are in their bag, that match will be really good.
Dude,
we'll see.
Roxanne she just makes everyone better, and Raquel's been like really good in that team. Legitimately, it's the best she's ever been. So I think it has a real chance. If it goes on early, especially, and the crowd will be hot. And I think Cena
anyway, bro, when Lexi's music hits, you know what time it is.
Right, but I'm saying, levels.
You know what time it is. Even if it's a stadium,
you know what time it is,
Joe. You know what time it is, Joe. You know.
Punk and Gunther should be great. Should be great.
It should be a big stadium, heavyweight world championship. You know.
That really does. Oh, and Jesse's right. I apologize. Becky and Lyra. I've loved their two matches. I just completely forgot. They have a stip too, right? They have a stip.
no DQ, I think. And there must be a winner.
Yeah, I mean, that should be great. I mean, again, this is the best looking card they've produced pretty much, like,
in a while.
kind of by default,
Eight
kind of all year, because it's,
9 matches. How many?
it's 2 nights, and the other 2 night show they did was WrestleMania, which, well, you know.
9 matches. So if they add one more, that would be 10 matches. 2 5-match cards. I think there's still room. I think they're going to add a tag title match as well. On the men's side, probably the SmackDown one. I think I read something about them potentially adding like a TLC match or something. So
Oh, Jesus.
yeah, if we can get up to like 6-7 matches per show, I'll be very happy. I'll be very happy.
Okay.
So yeah, man. TLC.
Wait, so the Wyatt 6 are going to be in a TLC match? My God.
Wow. Not if Andrade and Phoenix beat them next week. But
Come on, bro. Jesus. You a betting man? Jesus.
listen,
on.
man. They're
Dex
cooking,
Loom?
bro.
Dex Loom and Joe Gaze? No way.
Oh, stinky. Anyway, we need to go 8:15. Alright, people. Appreciate you for passing through. We're going to try and step up with the amount of streams that I'm doing, you know. Hulbert is obviously... He works hard, people, you know. Sometimes he gets to text. He gets to text if he can make the road, if he can make the show, you know. And he's just beat up, you know. Drives Ibu mad, you know. But you know, we're gonna get those stem cells, and we're gonna get back on track, people. You know, we're gonna have a big second half of 2025. You know, it's what we're gonna do. It's that's my promise to you people.
Promise
of support. Yeah, my promise to the people, because I know people who have been following this channel for a long time. And when we used to do like fucking 4, 5, fucking 6 streams a week, you've probably noticed over the past few months. You know what I mean? We do like 2, maybe 3 streams a week at the moment. So, like I said, I'm promising to our audience that's stuck with us, that still fuck with us, that send us super chats in, that just support us in general, engage with us, all that shit, all the people that support, that have also support Late Night Grin, Self-Made, all these people, you know, that I am working on trying to give you guys more, you know, basically. Some people may have noticed that we've got the website up and going again. We're going to start filtering in some more features. So if you want to do some features, message me, man. Message me. If you want to get involved in any way, just message me, whether that's writing a feature or whether that's, I don't know, some other bullshit, you know. Maybe even start doing the odd space or two, you know, because that used to be, bro, that's literally how like me and Ibu like started talking and shit. It's how Ibu and like AO and Christian Roy, it's like Spaces is like the birth of everything except for like Joe, who's already at this point a veteran, you know.
I've never been in a space. They scare me. Actually, I've been in one.
Don't even listen.
I listened to one and it was very scary. I never went back. Very scary.
Ibu loves it, man. It's what he come up on. It's what he credits for his come up. It's what he credits for his come up, man. You know. But yeah, man. Appreciate you people a lot for sticking with us, supporting us, all that shit. And like I said, second half of this year, definitely going to try and up the amount of content. So, and it won't just be content for content's sake. We are gonna I will try to get good shit going for you and shit like that. All right. We're out of here. Joe, you got any plugs? I know you just finished the stream, and yeah, you've just done an interesting. You dropped an interesting video yesterday.
We did. We dropped What If Hulk Hogan Never Joined WCW by complete chance and coincidence. Go check that out on LNG Productions. Tonight we are live and free for the flagship on the usual Late Night Grin channel with a little squad selection action. So we're going to have a panel and I'm just going to say, okay, we're starting a promotion tomorrow. Who's the top babyface? And we're going to debate every candidate. We're going to pick one. Who's the top heel? Who's the monster heel? Who's the legend, the prospect? All that stuff. So that's going to be tonight's show and lots happening over at Late Night Grin. Thanks for this, mate. This was a good time.
Good shit, man. All right, guys. I appreciate you as always for tuning in, and we will be back most likely with Ibu and whoever joins him. Maybe Joe will put his working boots on again. Maybe.
Good luck.
And Anna. Come on, man. We need you. Got 3 in a row. It's crazy. Anyway,
he's doing great. Good luck to him.
Come on. People, send Joe abuse, man. At him, DM him, comment on his videos. You can't let him get away with this part-time shit. Anyway, appreciate you guys. We'll be back potentially, we will be back on Monday. yeah, no chance of us doing anything Sunday, I don't think. But yeah, we'll be back on Monday. Thanks for watching. Peace.